Hello everybody, welcome to the sound test room. Today we are taking a look at the new and long-awaited Pure Acid from Jim Audio, the developer of GR16, Groove Rider and Poison Synth. Yeah, so I shall get on my stream and we shall see who's here. And yeah, it's very good, this is. It's very, very good. It's very, very, very easy to use as well, which suits me well. Which suits me well indeed. So who's here? Hi, oh, Samuel, hi. Soon time, right? Yeah. So let me tell you the purposes of this. I am not using this with any other app. It's purely going to be running on its own, standalone, because I spent today learning how to use it more or less. So we'll cover like integrating it with AUM, but honestly, right now I haven't opened this in anything other than on its own. So all I'm going to do is show you how it works, how you can build songs, how you can program the thing, how you can do all sorts of very cool stuff very, very quickly. Hi, Marcus. Yes. So it's very cool. So let's see what it is. Okay, so it's a bassline drum machine and makes kind of acid house music, that kind of thing. It does it very, very well. It's very, very easy to use. You have one bass synthesizer here. You have the pattern sequencer here. And then you have your special effects and mixer here. If you close any of these, for instance, if I close the Bassline Synth, the keyboard appears and the keyboard plays the Bassline Synth. So if you wanted to see the synth and close, say, the mixer, you can now see the actual Bassline Synth, and also you can see the mixer as well, which is probably what most of you are going to want to do. There are 3 ways to enter information MIDI notes in to the sequencer. The sequencer only refers to the bass line. The drum pattern is controlled by the drum machine, so which is here. So this is the drums. Okay, we can close that for now. You can either enter it via the keyboard. You can enter it via a MIDI keyboard, which I've got the Arturia key step, which is better for me. And then also you can, if you want to, go into edit here and you can use the steps here like this and enter notes per a step basis sort of thing. So if you wanted the note on this first step of the 16, you just hit note and then you can lengthen it if you want to, like this. And then if you play that, you'll hear it's just got a 4 on the floor kick going. Or we could then just get rid of that. We can go to pattern and we can go init, yes, and it will take that note out. Okay, so when you first launch it, you will get an absolute ton of presets to play with, which are very entertaining and much fun. So these are the ones I've been playing with today. If we go to Factory Bank here, these are all the kind of ones that are included in it, and there really are loads and loads and loads. I'll just give you a quick demo of the kind of thing you get, so you can just this is available now. It's been out all day. Yes, I think it came out yesterday actually. Right, anyway, but we're not interested in using the presets. The presets are a great way to start a song, but I really want to show you how you just make your own. It's a lot of fun and just great fun. So inside here, you will find, if you scroll down, you will find a patch that says init. Okay, so now we've loaded the initialized patch. The initialized patch gives you this. That's it, and then on the drums it just gives you a kick. You program you can go through various drum settings like this, And then you can go to pattern and you can program patterns in. Again, this is super easy to do. Jim's really thought about this. He's really made everything very simple indeed. Very 808ish. Very kind of like Rebirth. A lot like Rebirth. Yeah, just different, if you know what I mean. But it's not calling itself, it's been designed from the ground up to be itself. In fact, anyone who remembers Rebirth, there is here a preset that says Rebirth, and there we go. Remember that? Right, so we'll go back to our init. Now, I would seriously suggest at this point, right, that you do this. You can either clear that out by going to pattern and just go init like this, go yes, and then that pattern is gone. You might as well leave the bass drum in, doesn't really matter. But I would suggest doing this. You open this like this and go save as, and maybe call this something like reset, or we'll just call it factory. Probably the easiest thing, and go save, and that will save this into your user bank. You'll see I've got reset 1 and factory now. So factory, because if you overwrite init with some stuff, and save it, like just hit save, and it will then have all that information in. There is another way to do it in here. You can kind of go to general, where is it, audio? No, there's a few things in the utilities, initialize current preset, but that will initialize the current preset. So, and then there's different color schemes you can have here. This is a manual one, and then there's kind of like this default, and then there's pink and blue, gold. There's loads and loads. It's not what this video is about, because that doesn't make any noise, but I actually quite like the pink and blue. It's very nice. Okay, so now we're in our factory preset. I think probably what we want to do now is then rename this to something else, so factory stays as it is. So we can save that as we'll call it Acid City, just for fun. Okay, so we'll call this one Acid City saved. Now we've got our factory. I've got my reset one. Now I've got Acid City. I'm ready to start recording now, and we hear this is our initialized patch, basically. So what we can do is we'll leave that kick going along there, because at the moment that's giving us a really nice kind of, it's giving us a click track, and there is no click track on here, so you're kind of stuck with this. But once you've got something down that you can take time, and of course, like I said, you can edit this with steps, or you can just play it in like. Okay, a little bit about the lengths and settings you can have. Each pattern is 4 bars long, although however you can set the length of the pattern to be, like for instance, half a bar long, like that. Or you can go down to 1 beat, or you can go all the way up to 32, which is basically the equivalent of 2 bars. So you can 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it'll repeat itself as well. And then you can chain patterns, and it's got a cool song mode as well, which is also super cool how Jim's done that as well. Really clever stuff. Right, okay, so we're going to take this back down for now to 16 bars, because each individual pattern, let me just stop that, each individual pattern will remember its own length. Now the drums are slightly different. The drums only have one set length of 1 bar, okay? But that doesn't mean you haven't got loads of control over how it will play back in a mix. You have, as you're going to find out as well. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go to edit. I want to add some something like something like that for now. So what I need to do is see the keyboard, because the keyboard controls the right control, which is like the record sort of thing. So if we just close out the drums for now, we'll get our keyboard and you'll see right and accent. So you can, like I said, you can add notes in with the keyboard as it's playing, like I kind of record it live, and that's if it's on write mode. So if you hit one note there, it'll move along to the next step like this. Again, that's kind of naff because personal preference is I prefer stuff to be running, but you could like enter each note individually like that. You could throw a rest in there and stuff like this, or put an accent on the next one sort of thing, and a rest on the next one. And it's all that kind of stuff, you know, you can do all this stuff, but I prefer entering stuff via keyboard while things are running. And this is where this just kicks brilliant. You could not do this with Rebirth, which was a real downer, you know. So let's just go back to pattern. Let's initialize again just to get rid of those few bits and pieces. And now we can kind of step back to the beginning. Actually, we can just play. We can see it counting along now and take accent off. Now I'll hit, let me just see what I was going to do. And what's cool about the keyboard is it'll also let you can't really hear it yet, but it'll let you put the slides in just by holding the legato. Same. I think I will set this to actual 32. 32. Let me just stop that a second, go back to length. I set on my edit. And I'm going to hit right. And now I put it in now. That's done. So now if we want to, we can start to actually mess around. But if we go back to pattern now, you see we've got pattern 1. That's done deal. Let's start making adjustments to the sound. So actually, before I do that, let me show you how you can copy a pattern over. You can do it while it's running or while it's stopped. Let's do it while it's playing. Hit copy, hit the pattern you want to copy it to, and hit paste. So you're done, right? Yes, it is. That is Mrs. Doug. So now we've got 2 patterns and we're on pattern 2. Let's change the sound up a bit for a start off. Let's go to our mixer, and here are our effects. So we've got a delay, a hold verb at the moment, and a delay on the actual MFX part, which is also you can control the bass line with. We'll get to that in a sec. So the mixer, this part of the mixer here, you'll see, let me get my mousey thing. This part of the mixer is for the bass line, like what's going on in the pattern sequencer here. This part of the mixer here is for drums. Okay, so for the drum machine. And then you've got effects send A and effects send B, which is quite a lot more detailed in the drum machine than it is in the pattern sequencer. Okay, and then you've got effects send A and effects send B for the sequencer. So for instance, we know that this is effects A, this is B. So let's just add some effects. So let's add some delay. Now I know you're in mono, but that's actually stereo, so. And right, here we go with B. Okay, so now we've got a really simple pattern going down, and we've got exactly the same pattern going on in pattern 1. So no difference between the 2 patterns. So we'll change that up in a sec. Let me just quickly show you the different effects that you get here. You get all these different effects that you've got a choice of using, and that is the same for each of the effects blocks. And then also you have the same kind of thing going on in the, so let's put a decimator on the MFX. So now we can control the amount of decimation that goes across the pattern. So if we press play again. Now, as far as I can tell, I can't find, there's no way to actually automate it from within the app. And I haven't used it with any like 8 Matrix or Rosetta LFO yet or anything like that. I'm guessing that you can automate via LFOs, and who knows, Jim may even add automation in. I don't know. I mean, you can automate absolutely everything in GR16, so it's not like he doesn't know how to do that. You know what I mean? Okay. So moving on, we've kind of understand how the effects work. It's pretty straightforward, it's pretty simple. If you're clipping in AUM or anything like that, it'll be down to this. Just turn this down here and then adjust your volumes and gains in AUM or whatever other host you might be using it in. It is not AUV3, I'm sure. I think it's into App Audio at the moment. This here, okay, so we've got this pattern here. Let's say we want to add some excitement and interest to the pattern with some of those classic like slides and accents and stuff. You can see here, if we highlight this and then we hit slide, some of them won't, because I'm rubbish at stuff like this, right? You can see that we're going to now slide down and then back up to that one, and then you can start to put more in like this. One in there, and then to there, go in between actually. Okay, then you have a gate time and tempo self-explanatory. Swing is self-explanatory really. And this is your data wheel. This controls all the functions that you can actually run in. What do you mean? How many tracks? How many? Just the bass line and the drum machine. But then you can chain patterns together, sort of thing. It just works like the old gear does. It's great. It's great. So gate. So basically no gating. I'll leave it back there. Right, so we know that that's pattern 2. So let's copy and paste that pattern over to to number 3. Okay, so you can see, guys, basically it's pretty straightforward. It's actually really easy. Now also I would suggest that every now and then just hit save, so it just resaves your preset for anything that you're working on. Also, okay, so I'm going to do this now. So I'm going to go copy and I'm going to go paste, and then we've got this. Let's have a look at different ways we can easily change up the pattern. So that was with me originally starting with playing a pattern in. There's loads of other ways you can do this. Loads of very, very quick ways to get started. I'll show you how you can completely alter one of the preset patterns in literally seconds. Here we go. So this is pattern 3. Let's go to edit. Here it is now. And you'll see down here, once we're in edit, you'll see shift, comp, variation, shuffle, revert, undo. Right, so let's have a mess around, shall we? Let's hit variation. Let's reverse that. Let's undo it. And then there's something weird about the undo. You have to save first and then it'll what's it? How many undos it can handle? I don't know. I think about one. I honestly don't know. Undo done to saved. So if we go save, preset saved. If I make another adjustment, say variation, and then undo. So one undo, basically, I think it just goes back one. So let's vary that again. And then you can pick any one note. You can then change the actual length of it. And because it's mono, it kind of starts shifting stuff around. And then if whatever note's selected here, you can move up an octave or down an octave. You can then go like, oh, I don't want that note. Let's take it out. We can turn it into a rest. So this was editing now like we used to. Again, with the pitch, you could choose this note here, for instance, and you could go. You could then gate that, you see. Gate that note even further. Gate this one. You can't get that one, so it's got a slide on it, but. And then you could reverse it all or reverse it back. Then you can hold shift and you could shift all the notes one way like that. It's very cool. It's very cool. And you can insert and delete. But the other cool one is, so let's have a listen to that. This is very nice. Right, so hi Midge. Let's look at our pattern now. We know that's the same. Okay, cool. So let's copy that 1, 3. Let's paste it into there. And let's vary that one. Let's just vary that one completely. And then we'll go back to pattern and we'll just enter this. It's pattern 5, which is we know is blank. Okay, so let's see what else we can do. Let's go to edit, and this time let's hit comp here. And this is the Bassline composer. So basically you can choose your key here. Well, I know I'm in C. And then you've got a load of different scales that you can choose from. Actually quite a lot of scales. And then you can So that's kind of basically how you can use the step sequencer with like either playing it in keys or programming in old style here. So you have everything you need, your note, your rest, your step forward, step backwards. Always to shuffle, vary, reverse, undo. You have the bass composer, which is very cool. We haven't looked at the drum machine, so let's have a look at that, shall we? Yes. Okay, so we know we do this. Again, I would suggest you save a lot. That's important. Otherwise, you may lose what you've already done. And you don't want to doing that, do you, guys? Hang on a minute. I've dropped my drink. No, I haven't dropped my drink. I've dropped me mat. Okay. So, let's see. So, drums. Here's the drum machine. Now, the drum machine works slightly differently in the fact that you can't control pattern length. So I'll get into song mode in a sec as well before I go. So here we go. This is what happens. Here's the drum machine. Let us turn off the sequencer while we're playing with the drum machine. So you can see you have these different drums. Let's stop the machine and we can test them out by just hitting them like that. Let's turn the output up while we're just playing. Okay, so it's not like you've got a load of drum kits to choose from, okay? You only have a few. However, you do have a lot of control. So for instance, over this particular bass drum, We can turn the level up. So each of these drum parameters are different for every single drum. They're programmable for each drum. Okay, so we could turn the level up, say. We can run the boost, pan it, although you're not going to hear that. Then you can add your effects A or effects B to individual drums. So say for instance this snare, because this is a good one to show you the snare. Okay, so we'll turn the boost up on the snare, turn the level up. Let's turn the snap up, which is a bit like a tone control. And then we have decay, and then tune. And then you can also send either effects A or effects B, regardless of whether you look in the mixer, regardless of whether there's any main sends coming from the mixer to the drums. You can use these drum parameter sends here, effects A and effects B, just to send the effect to individual drums. Like, so for instance, the snare, let's put a bit of reverb on the snare. So now we'll have the kick drum here without no reverb, and the snare will have reverb when we program some in. So let's program a bit of snare, and we've got a 4 on the floor bass going. We're not going to get too complicated with drum programming patterns like that. You know, you can kind of do that yourself. I just want to show you how easy it is to actually program the whole thing and get something real usable real quick. It's really great. Okay, so let's play the drums. Let's turn the gain down a little bit again. And let's sort this. We don't need this bass drum to have so much boost on it. Okay, now we can use the drum select. Okay, let me use the mouse pointer. We can use the drum select switches to choose the drum we want. So we want snare 2, that one. And then we go to step edit, and then we can do the usual thing, you know, program it in like this, and then we can add an accent. So let's add an accent to that one. It's, you know, gives it a little bit louder. And we've also got a flam. Okay, so you've got your flam, your accent, you've got mute and solo. So let's put something else in. Let's put one more thing in before we go any further. No, actually, no, let's not, because I want to show you how you do your steps. So that's how you do your step editing. You go to your trigger, you find the drum that you want to add, sort of thing, whether it be whatever. Make your adjustments till you're happy with the sounds. I will also say that, let me just get this somewhere else. Okay, let me move this drum up here. By closing something else, it just moves the things around. This little button here that says drum set, if we open that, you'll see that some of the drums, just on like the older machines, do have some options for other types of drum. So that's the drum, that's the bass we use. But if we wanted to use that particular kick, we have some different options, and you can just scroll through until you find which one you want. So wherever you see that there's a couple of and then you've got, you know, classic sort of low and high, and then you've got different types of rhythms, and then you've got one clap. But you can do quite a lot with the clap, actually, with boost and colour and decay and whatever, and some effects. You could send a few effects. Like with the clap, for instance, we could send some effects B, which is delay. Effects A, sorry. Okay, and then you've got couple couple of choices of different sounds on there. So that's, you know, how to run your drum set sort of thing. So now we've got a little program, a little drum pattern programmed in pattern 1. So here are our patterns. Let's copy pattern 1 to pattern 2, and we can add some hi-hat, for instance. Okay, so let's see. Let's go to our copy first. So again, while you're on the pattern that you want, you go copy, and then you can just go paste, and you're done. Okay, so now we want to add some hats to this. So let's go to trigger. Let's find our hi-hat here. We need to definitely get that up. And then let's go to step edit. Now, no, let's do this one with tap. We can tap. If we go to tap record, we can select the drum we want, and we can just tap it in like that. Okay, so let's do. Okay, so tap record. Let's go to pattern. And then you just have the kick, and then I've selected hi-hat, so I can now go to step edit and put some in. Then you've got mutes. You can choose to accent all of them instead of having to go like lower, higher by just hitting total accent. But you know, and then you can erase individual notes if you just need to tap them where they played. Kind of like anything that is now, any sequencer. And then we can drop our. I'm gonna go back to our trigger. Then we can put our where is it? Our sequencer back on. Go to pattern. Right, now song mode. Okay, so it's fine now. You want your patterns to play. You can if you let me go to a song that I made earlier, which kind of is more obvious. It's kind of, I've done a little bit more to it for the point of this. So I'm going to save that, and I'm going to go to, I don't know what it was called now. I think it might have been Download Town. See, I've got 5 patterns here, and if we go to drums here and go to pattern, you'll see I've got 3 patterns. Okay, and then you'll see also across the top, you'll see it'll say 1, and it'll say times 2, 2 times 2, 3 times 2, 4 times 4. Now this is in song mode, so this is how this sounds in song mode. And it'll get to the end and repeat. If you wanted it to end, all you would literally need to do is which I did in another one, and I'm not sure now which it was. Was it this one? Was it Chill Time? No. I might have overwritten it actually. I think it was test 2. Right, test 2. You'll see this one, which is a similar kind of thing. I've got like 1 with no pluses on it, 2 with no pluses on it, and I've altered some of the drum pattern timing. So this one sounds like this, but you'll see when it gets to pattern 8 here, there'll be no sound because If we look in the pattern edit for 1, there, like this, you'll see that's the note edit, sorry. Right. If you look in the patterns for 2, you'll see, and then if you look at the pattern for number 6, you'll see there's nothing in there. And I've got it going 8 times, so I've got time to stop it. Okay, so it's again, it's the same for the drums. In this, if we look at our steps here, step edit. Actually, if we go for, let's go to our pattern 1, and if we go to step edit, there's nothing there. What's the oh, there is. Right, so I'll play the actual. I'll go to pattern. I'll play the track. Hang on, I'll start again. Now you'll see. You would think now, how the hell do I get this? Because what I can do is this. And it's only running for 1 bar, so why isn't it changing? I've set up patterns. You can jump around like that. Not ideal. That's not what you're going to do. So this is song mode. Song mode is genius. It's absolute genius. Because what song mode lets you do is either have the song playing together, or you could just have the song playing along here and leave this alone and program it yourself, or have them both playing together, or neither playing at all. Now, as soon as you make any adjustments to the actual pattern and stop it, that means you can start editing outside of song mode, and this one could be still in song mode. So all you need to do to get this to play in a pattern in song mode is long hold until you see this little +1 and it says set chain, and then just drag along like that so they all turn grey apart from 1. Do the same with this one. Set chain. Done. And now we're in song mode. Okay, so now and now you've got time to stop it before that runs round its full blank 8 bars. So yeah, so that's how you do song mode. Song mode's a piece of cake. It's that easy. But it's really, really clever, because if we play song mode again, let's go back. Now we're not in song mode anymore. You'll see it's ungrayed out. Okay, so we can edit, or we could set this for song mode. Now, what I want to show you is, because that's not in song mode now, we can if we want to. We're out of song mode now. Now we're just in these 2. It'll go back. So it's dead flexible, song mode is. It's very cool. Again, copying patterns is dead easy. Literally, or you can transpose as well on the fly. Now you might see these little +2s, +3s. How do I get them in? Well, that's easy. Once you're on a pattern, any pattern like this, if you move the data wheel, you'll see you'll add pattern repeats in. See, like it says at the top there, pattern repeats. So at the moment it's going to play once. Now it'll play twice, and it can go all the way up to 32 pattern repeats per pattern. So that's a lot, you know. That's if you fill up all 12 with different patterns of 32 patterns, 32 bars long, sort of thing. So that's how you do your pattern repeats. And you might notice here I've got 1 and then 2 with that, and then 3's got 7, because I want to go all the way up to number 5, which is the fill. And you'll notice that 4 and 5 are a fill. Are a fill like that. So I programmed less drum patterns and more actual bassline changes, but then just counted up to say, well, what have I got? I've got 1, I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So 1, 2, 3, and I had that repeat 7 times, and then go on to the fill. So you can actually see it you can actually see it working if we set up the pattern again. Jump to that, stay on this for twice, jump to this for twice. Now it'll stay on this. And then it'll change now. Well, now. And then go blank. Because there's nothing in those patterns. Because if there was, it would jump back round. And also the fact that you can understand this. If I take that 8 down there where it says times 8, and I drop that back down to, like, just so it's going to play once. If we start from, say, oh, we'll have to do the whole thing again. But if we do this again and do this again, right. What will happen is just that'll play once and then it'll just start this top pattern again, yet this will just carry on playing nothing. See, and that'll have to catch up now. Well, as that started, because I only had it set for once. So once you get your head around it, it's really, really clever. It's just brilliant. It's just absolutely brilliant. And like, I think, so basically, guys, that's it. Honestly, you've got enough now to actually start, to start messing with the app. The synth, it's dead basic, the synth, so it's kind of self-explanatory. Pardon me. The synth doesn't have presets. Okay, you program it yourself, but it remembers every time you hit save. You know, it remembers, sort of thing. Yeah, so that's basically it, guys. It is pure acid gym audio, pretty quick and comprehensive tutorial. You can, like I said, you can go into any of the actual any of the included patterns. You could go into any of the included patterns, and then you could just really start just varying them. So let's go to edit for pattern. There's only one pattern in this, so let's go vary. Like that. You've made it your own already. Copy. Paste. Let's do the same. Let's maybe go, say, so depending on how you have your MFX set, you can have it for bassline and it's controlling cutoff and resonance. Or if you scroll through, it'll change different parameters. We go back to MFX. Very cool. So there you go, guys. Thank you for joining me. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Please, guys, consider becoming a patron. Help support what we do here at Sound Test Stream. Thank you so much for joining me. Hi, Dave. Davey Pudum. I haven't looked at the chat much tonight, guys. I'm really sorry. I know Joe's been on and that. Thanks, MIDI in and out lane. Yes, Mitch. Yes, Meerkat. Sorry, Paul. Utilities. It has. You can render 1 bar of audio. You can choose your bit rate. I've got it set at 16 because I'm like, old. You can initialize called preset, export all user presets. You can share presets, so I can expect we can see some preset banks being shared by people. MIDI, we have a full MIDI lane. All we need to do is just hit any of the controllers, turn a knob on our controller. We have Bluetooth MIDI, and then obviously you can see that we have MIDI in because I've got the little key step control in there. So virtual MIDI, well, I don't know, yeah, that's the other stuff. And you have audio, you have 32, 44, 48 buffer size. You've got optimal. I've got it set on 512. Then you have background audio on. Background timer, I've just got that switched off because if it wasn't background audio and was using it, I wouldn't want it to turn off. Anyway, nothing makes a birthday happy like money. Donate for me. Right, listen, guys, thank you very, very much for watching, and I really do hope you enjoyed it. It does a lot. I think it's well worth it. I really do. I think Jim's done a brilliant job with this, and do you know what the thing is? I think people look at it and go, whoa, man, that looks complicated. And, it does a little bit. It looks quite like there's a lot going on. And then you start to play with it, you think, flipping heck, this is really, really, really straightforward. It's really clever how it's been done. So, yeah, we'll do another one with it featuring in other apps and things, run it. But honestly, so far today, I just wanted to say, right, I've learnt the app today, and let's get it done while I remember everything. Guys, I'll see you guys later. Thank you very, very much for watching. Cha-cha.